I've been in a couple circumstances where someone older than me has rejected something I've said for the reason that I'm young, or like, oh, that's just something your generation says, or something like that. And then what's interesting is later I will find someone much older and wiser than me who says the same thing. And I'm like, oh, one, I probably learned it from someone else or read it somewhere, even if I don't always remember exactly where I've learned everything. And then two, the Holy Spirit doesn't discriminate based on age as far as insight. And then three, I've kind of just learned that if someone's going to reject something and say, oh, it's because you're young, then it's probably not because you are young. It's because they don't like your wisdom, and they would probably reject it from someone who's older for different reasons. They would come up with a different reason to disagree with the situation or the insight or whatever. And I guess that's just kind of comforted me, because I've struggled with a lot of like self-doubt and just thinking, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, maybe I'm just crazy. And then I hear it from someone else who probably said it better than I did. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I am listening to the Lord. I am hearing from him, and I'm not crazy. Not that I'm always right. 100%. I'm not. I'm wrong often. But I think that when someone comes to me and actually wants to engage in a conversation, then we both grow. I realize, oh, I could have said that better. Or like, oh yeah, I was seeing this from this angle or whatever. Versus someone being like, you know, you just think that because you're X amount of years old. Well, actually, that's not true. I hope I still think this 30 years from now. Just like that other person that I look up to with humility. And I was also encouraged in this by a friend who's older than me and more experienced. And I was expressing some of my fears to her in this area, like, hey, this is an area that I'm just worried about. And she said, I feel like that's pride on the other person's part not to be willing to engage in a conversation or to be dismissive. And that just like healed so much in me to know from her that she was willing to engage in humble conversation and not in defensiveness. So anyways, seek the Lord. It says that he gives wisdom to those who ask, and those who ask not to spend on selfish desires. And so I do have to continually ask the Lord, like, I want wisdom to please you. I want wisdom to be more like Jesus, not to serve myself. But he doesn't give wisdom based on age, though living through things does make you wise about some of them. But he gives wisdom to those who ask, whether they're young or old. Be encouraged.